So today we're at the Sign Chef in Charleston, South Carolina, and we're going to be performing a top roller change on the GFP 563TH. So we're going to walk you through it. We got Nick here. He's going to be doing some training. And so first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the hand wheel on the right hand side, or we call this the control side of the machine. So you want to be my hands here, and you can remove that Allen screw. When you take the hand wheel off, you're going to want to be careful not to lose any of the parts. There's a keyway in there that can get lost fairly easily. Piece. And then we're just going to take the side covers off. You got a handful of screws in each side. Then what we're going to do first is actually remove the heater. There's a heating element that runs through the top roller, or they call it the heat roller on this machine. And so it'll be necessary to disconnect, and we're going to make sure we got the power off and unplugged, of course. And so you're going to remove the nut, and I usually just put that back on so that it doesn't get lost after I remove the wire. And he's just doing the same thing on the other end there. And then we'll take the bracket off that holds the heater in place. There's just two screws here that hold it in from the top. And then this just slides off. There's a rubber grommet here that holds the heater in place, and so we'll just set that down. And this heater is made of glass on this one. Some of the newer machines are actually made out of metal, but with glass, obviously, you need to be very careful with it so you don't break it. And it's also not a good idea to touch the lamp or the glass on there, because the oil in your hands can get on the glass, and it can cause a hot spot in the heater. So, all right. So this we're going to just pull out, and as I said, we're going to be real careful how we handle this, and also we don't want to touch it with our hands. So we just want to turn that all the way down until the top roller comes to rest on the bottom roller, basically taking the weight off of the supports there. While he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take the screws loose that hold the assembly in. On the left side, if you're standing in front of the machine, we call it the drive side, because that's where all your gear workings are. We're going to want to remove this beveled gear. On the control side, you don't have to remove that. It actually faces the other way, so it's on the inside and it's not in your way so much. And once we get the set screw loose, it should come out. And again, this has a key way on it, so it has tendency to go flying on you. This one's kind of stuck in there, so we'll just leave it. But we're going to remove this beveled gear, and then we're going to remove the two screws that hold this whole mechanism here. This bearing block and the lift mechanism is all one piece, and it's all just held in the machine with these two screws right here. So we'll remove the two screws, one on either side of that mechanism. And then this, depending on how long this has been in here, it may or may not be easy to get out. But the people who make this machine did us a little favor here, and they put an extractor in it. So if you notice this extra hole, the extra hole in the bracket or in the lift mechanism here, that's a threaded hole where you can push the assembly off. So I just have to find a screw here that I can use for that purpose. I usually just steal one. So if we just thread this into the hole here, Actually acts as an extractor. You kind of see it push the assembly out because it's got pins that go into the side for alignment. These little silver pins right here. And they're really tight inside the cabinet, so it gets stuck a little bit. So that should break it loose, and that whole assembly comes off as one piece. If you try and keep this in the same orientation when you take it off for when you put it back on, then things will line up a little easier. If you twist this around a whole bunch of times, you get it facing the wrong way, you're going to have to realign it. So I usually try and carefully set that the way it came off. This is the access plate for the roll to come out. So we'll just remove these 3 screws here. You want to be careful when you take this out that the roll doesn't slip too far, because that's, you can see that holds your bearing assembly in place. It's going to come this way. Lift up on it a little bit. Weighs about 80 pounds, so it helps to have a little help. And then we'll just set this in the floor. And then we're going to bring the new roller and place it right in front of that. So, and you want to make sure, you know, try and ensure that your hands are relatively clean here. They don't have to be perfect. Go back in. You ready? Okay. So we're going to be careful, slide it in that hole on the left hand or control side there. And then a little bit farther. There we go. Now slide it back to me. We'll come slowly with it. We're going to have to make sure that there's a flat spot on this bearing that lines up with the side panel. Come a little bit more my way. So we'll have to rotate this around just a little bit. Now push it the rest of the way.